To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So there it sits, our brand new, freshly built tiny house. I'm very proud of it. It took me 9 months to get the area cleaned up, buy the materials, build the building. And so tomorrow is a pretty exciting day. Tomorrow we're gonna buy the materials to build the back porch deck. We won't get the roof tomorrow, but the deck will be finished. That way it'd be easier for us to get into the tiny house. We can start working on the floors and the ceiling and the shower and all that inside stuff. But really, we could move in anytime now. But it appears that YouTube is shutting down my channel. Over this summer, they talked about doing this to off-grid channels. And it appears that's what is happening. I'm going to give you a little history on how we became an off-grid lifestyle, how we got our channel to go this direction. I guess, 4 years ago, we decided that we were going to travel the country as nomads. And we had a little pop-up camper, and we decided that we were going to do YouTube videos and document our adventure. But after a year of the pop-up, someone burned down our pop-up camper in a national forest. And I think it really put a bad taste in our mouth at that point. I think we really became unhappy. And so we built, you might be able to see it, a little truck camper, put it on the back of our pickup truck, and we continued the nomadic lifestyle for another 3 years. All the while making YouTube videos and growing the channel. Okay, I mean, we weren't great. I suppose the biggest reason that we didn't grow really fast as a nomad channel, I was documenting the trials and tribulations of the nomadic lifestyle. I wanted to caution people before they sold their homes and all their possessions and hit the road and talk about how freeing it is, that it was probably the least freeing lifestyle choice that you could have. I mean, everywhere you go, you're regulated by the government. National forest, government ran. National parks, government ran. State parks, government ran. There was no freedom there. You had to follow all their rules. It wasn't all that freeing in my experience, and there were just a lot of bad apples out there, bad characters. For example, the one that burned down our pop-up camper. After doing it for 3 years, Carolyn and I said, yeah, we just can't keep doing this. This is just too difficult. And it didn't give us what we wanted. I remember we were in Coconino National Forest in Arizona. And it really was kind of a homeless camp. I don't know what else to call it. I'm not trying to be mean. That's what it was. Somebody had made a shelter out of dead branches. Made 2 of them, actually. Carolyn and I were talking about what our next move was. We were talking about buying a bus. A little mini bus, and traveling, and then eventually stop the traveling and end up buying us a piece of property, and we could park the mini bus on the property. Well, it just evolved from there. We decided, you know what? No, we're not gonna go buy a bus. Let's just buy a piece of property. And I mean, boy, Carolyn was so happy. I mean, she just immediately got to looking for property. And she was able to find this property for $4,200. And it would go on the market, come off the market, go on the market. We weren't looking through realtors. We went to Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. And she found another one for 10 acres. I think that was $7,000. It was not in a livable condition. It would have needed a lot of work just so we could get our vehicle on the property, build a road and all that. So the $7,000 would end up being $10,000, $15,000 pretty quickly. But this one was in a livable condition. It had a trailer pad. Of course, the trailer was falling apart, but it still had the trailer we could build our tiny house on. Had a well, it had a septic tank, so it had a lot of the things we needed, and it had a lot of wooded area, close to resources that we need, hardware store, gas station. So it really was perfect for us. Now, I know a lot of people don't think this is off-grid living because we're just too close to people, but it is to us. We bought the property, paid cash for it, went to the title office, met the guy there, paid for it. And I have not been disappointed. You would think, oh my goodness, you bought it just basically sight unseen. I mean, we did come down, we looked at it, but that was pretty much it. But we did it properly, and we went to the title office, got, you know, what are those secured titles, whatever those are called, I forget. And then we stayed at my mom's house for about a month, living in the truck camper still. That way we could start buying the supplies that we were going to need to live here. So we bought a well pump because it had a well but no well pump. We bought the solar panels and the charge controller, and all that just took time, research. I didn't know anything about wells, nothing. And so that took probably the most time. Trying to find a well that I could run on my generator. I finally found a 110 volt well pump that I could plug literally right into the generator. So 130-foot well, running it with a deep well pump off a little generator, 2,000 watt generator. So that took the most time. I understood a lot about solar panels. I already had solar panels on a house that I owned years ago, and I installed those. So I knew a lot about that, but the technology had changed and charge controllers were a little different. So I had to learn about that. But after I think a month or a month and a half, in January, we stayed at Mom's house, which was really good because it was a cold January. We would not have been ready. So I think in maybe late February, I don't remember, we decided to come on down here. We had everything we needed, and we immediately started setting up. We got the truck camper off the truck, laid it on the ground so we could live in that while we build the tiny house. Got the well running, got our solar panels hooked up, and I got an outdoor heat exchanger built so we could have heat for this winter. Like I said, there was no way we'd have been ready for winter here last winter. We didn't have an IBC tank to hold our water. We didn't have anything. So it just made more sense to stay at Mom's house for a while to get all those things. I know I'm criticized a lot for that. I mean, I'm still criticized. I hear you're living in your mom's backyard. Well, no, it was actually kind of in her driveway on the other side of the house, but no, it wasn't a permanent situation. If anything, it was just a really nice long visit with Mom during the holidays. And so we immediately, after we got established here, we immediately started building the tiny house. And that took a little bit of time to actually start building. We built the floor pretty quickly. After we tore down the trailer, the mobile home that was here, it had 2x4s, and so we started building quite quickly. But then the shutdown happened, and I lost all my employment at the time, and so I had to be cautious on what I was spending money on. So we started buying supplies slowly throughout the summer months. Carolyn found a lot of bargains, like windows. She bought for 40 bucks a piece, brand new window, beautiful looking door. I've been told the door is like $700 to $900 door. And we got it for 40 bucks, and it's like new. Then I guess in September, I finally got enough money saved up, got my jobs back. I felt like the economy was recovering a little bit. Of course, lumber prices were through the roof, so that's just something that we had to deal with. But my whole goal was to build this thing for $5,000. And so we started building, and just about the time I got the walls done and got that $500 spent, it was the next month. And so I could start building the next stage, building the trusses and getting those on. And then the next month, 500 bucks. And it all just worked out to the point now that we have our tiny house built and we could move in. So about midsummer, YouTube, there was rumors. I mean, it wasn't YouTube coming out and making a public statement, but there was a lot of conversation going on that YouTube didn't like off-grid channels. They considered it fear-mongering. And I would guess, agree that there are a lot of fear-mongering type of off-grid channels. I'm not doing it to fear-monger. I'm doing it just because it's freedom. We looked for freedom as a nomad, and we got here and we found it. This is where it was, right here in our home state. And so I'm not trying to promote, you gotta wait for the next political person to come in, and oh my gosh, they're gonna shut the whole country down. And so I don't talk about politics, and I try to not to get into human relationships. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty much an introvert. I try not to get involved in other people's lives, and I really just want people to leave me alone. And most of my YouTube viewers understand that, and they don't come bothering me. And so the only thing I'm showing you is there is an option in life where you can reduce your cost immensely. Live in a little house, brand new for $5,000. Brand new house for $5,000. You don't have to be hooked up to the grid. Well, as I started building the tiny house, the walls were starting to go up. My channel exploded. I mean, just through the roof explosion. I've never seen anything like it. It was amazing. So just about the time, unfortunately, right around the election, my channel shut down. It went from just amazing to it's not doing anything anymore. I kind of Googled it and looked at it, and I've done a lot of analytical research over the last month trying to figure out what happened. And it really does appear that they've shadow banned my channel. You can still do searches and some videos come up, but a lot of them that tells you the lifestyle itself don't show up. And what's interesting though is the videos that I was doing as a nomad are actually doing pretty well right now. It's the off-grid videos that they've shut down. So I got, videos that are years old that people are watching, which I find interesting. The lifestyle that we found to be the least amount of freedom, and actually to be the most controlling of your life, is the videos that are being promoted. But when I suggest, hey, here's a chance to live free, and that gets shut down. I'm kind of hoping that after the holidays, things will pick back up. There's a lot of rumors that YouTube is changing algorithms and crushing certain channels. I just never expected it to be mine. I mean, I really am not that controversial. I don't feel like I'm controversial at all. I don't talk about controversial subjects. But I guess they just had to find another topic to call controversial, and that's off-grid living. But all that being said, I am still going to try to inspire you to be free. Thanks for watching.